Hello, 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 welcome back. And yes, today is the last live stream for 2024. We'll be going into the new year and I'll see you next year. But before that, we are going to make some magical cloaks for Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, Shadow Dark, whatever you heck. I don't care what you're really making or playing, but we're going to do some work around that today. I've got a poll. I'm going to put up the poll. Feel free to take part in that poll. I would also suggest making sure that you grab some food, some drink, make sure you're comfortable. I do apologise with the drop in the sound volume. It is a software problem, and every time it seems to rectify itself, there's a problem again. It's very, very frustrating. But anyway, do your best to crank up the sound, and that maybe that'll help. Anyway, I'm pretty much ready to get started. So let's get moving, shall we? Hi, welcome to HowtoRPG. My name is Fred Wheeler, and today I want to talk about how to create your own stuff for a tabletop role-playing game. And we're going to look at magical cloaks and robes, and I thought it would be fun to make as many as we possibly can that are really low-powered. Things that are still magical, but things that you don't really have to worry too much about if you put in your game and you don't want them to ruin the game. You know, that can happen a lot. So that's what we're going to try to focus on today. And I'm really, really hot, so I'm going to take the hat off right now before I absolutely just lose it, because my head is just sweltering. And it's summer here in New Zealand, and I'm definitely feeling it right now. So I have prepared a document. I haven't done as much as I normally do. I've made one magic item, and I was expecting Fred Huber would chuck in a few other things as well, so I thought I would make sure I grab that as well. But here's the focus for today, and we'll see what we come up with, eh? Hashtag, what magic cloak and robe ideas do you have? That is our starting point. And then hello, Pale Rider. I want to keep the power level of them fairly low. Try to come up with low power magic items. Like common would be my preference. Things that we don't need to worry about getting too out of hand. And I don't want to duplicate anybody else's work, so if we're doing that, then we won't do that. Okay? I will just ignore those. So there's a couple of ideas here. Hello, Fred Huber. Fred Huber is a patron, subscriber, and a moderator. Thanks for being here, mate. And also got Pale Rider. So I've got down your color changing one, so I'm going to work on that in a second. Coats, a cloak of warming, cold resistance. Okay. I think we've got something that's kind of like that already. I think I have, yeah. I've got a winter's cloak. I've created a winter's cloak, so we won't need to worry about that one. But the cloak of armor, I'm not sure what that's all about, but we'll just drop that in and I'll work on that as well. I got your color one. And then we have, that's Pale Rider's armor. The light waterproof cloak, giving the same protection as a certain type of armor, leather to full plate or whatever works with your game. Oh, this is to basically allow a wizard to wear armor. I see what you're trying to do here, Pale Rider. Clever. All right, so that is that bit, and I'm going to get on to showing you the working space that I'm on. So keep throwing your ideas out there, and I will just keep plugging away and work on these till I get them to a point where they're mostly usable. Okay, so first off, winter's cloak. I've put this down. I've put down wondrous item, common, requires attunement. While wearing this cloak, you are immune to cold damage and the effect of extremely cold weather or environments. It's basically, yeah. So you don't have to worry about the cold. I didn't want to put resistance because I thought about resistance and I thought that's not really magical. That's just normal clothing. and it has to be magical. And I thought, well, hang on, is giving somebody immunity to cold by wearing a cloak more than common in terms of power? And my conclusion is no, because it's one it's cold immunity, and it's one immunity, and that is it. There's nothing else to it, and I think that's probably fine. Is there a spell out there that does cold immunity? Well, it's probably a higher level spell than this, but I think it also is it resist elements or something like that. I think there's a spell that says resist elements, and I can't remember what level that is. But I mean, if I have a look, I suppose I could have a look on here. Resist elements is going to be one of those things that obviously would be very powerful, but is it even a spell now? I can't even remember. Resist elements. Is it? No, doesn't it? Resist. See, resistance. Resistance. There's resistance. There's the legacy resistance spell, which is a cantrip. And that gives you touch one willing creature, and once you roll a d4 and add a roll on the saving throw. So this is just to give you a saving throw. So that's a cantrip level thing. And then if I were to go further, irresistible something. Oh, this is from being charmed. So I'm not too sure. If anybody is aware of a spell that it's sort of like that, I do have a couple of different versions of D&D in front of me. So, and including Shadow Dark and Pathfinder, first and second edition. So, yeah. All right, let's work on this first one. Cloak of Color Change. I'm not going to call it Cloak of Color Change, but what I will do is I will drop this down. And I think your wording for it is mostly on the dot. And we'll just put this here while we're in the cloak. That's not what I wanted to do. Try it again. Copy. Take this. And paste. And paste. Okay, right. Okay, while we're in this cloak, you can change the color of the cloak to any of the following, and then I'll just list red, blue, yellow, green, orange, purple, black, and white. And you've got here as an action. I don't really see this as being something that you're going to use in combat. I don't even think it's even necessary. I don't think it's going to change. Like changing the color of your cloak in the middle of a battle as a free action, who gives a toss? I don't think it matters. So, colored cloak. Colored cloak. There we go. And then we'll bold that. What am I doing? I'm about to delete it. Oopsies. Right, so that's that one. And then going back to Pale Rider's idea, while wearing this cloak, you can change the color of the cloak to any of the following: red, blue, yellow, green, orange, purple, black, or white. Okay, now let's do the armored cloak. Okay, so let's go here with armored cloak. Armored cloak. And we can do this. Paste. Paste. Okay, so we do that. And armored cloak, bold. Now, this is probably where I've got to think a little bit about this. Like, do I want the armored cloak to always be in effect, or do you need to turn it on and off? And mage armor is in 5e is a ritual. So mage armor gives you a certain type of protection, right? And that lasts a long time, 8 hours, essentially, really all day. So because its spell effect is so powerful, it kind of makes me wonder if there's a cloak that already exists that's like that. Displacement, elven kind, no. Invisibility, no. Protection, Cloak of Protection. What does this do? You gain a +1 bonus to armor class and saving throws. Well, so this is saving throws and armor class. Okay, so this thing is doing a few different things. We're not making that again. There's no point. So now we're just talking about Cloak of Armor. And then spells, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember how that spell works. And then we have, there's actually, I'm pretty sure there's a mage armor in as a spell in Shadow Dark as well. And I think the Pathfinder mage armor is very similar in terms of how it operates as well. So I don't think I need to look that one up. And I'm kind of familiar, you know, most of the time mage armor used to last a long time. 10 rounds is like a minute. A visible layer. Your armor class becomes a certain value. So it just stipulates what your armor class will be. Well, we could just go with the formula and just be done with it. It does state you have to be a wizard to wear it. Do I want to state that you have to be a wizard to wear this cloak? One of the great things about magic items is they allow people who would not normally be able to do something that they couldn't normally do. So it might be nice to actually just build it around mage. I don't think it's going to be overpowered. It's a level 1 spell. You can cast it as a ritual. It is one of those times where it's giving you an armor bonus, but if you can wear armor, you're never going to wear this. It would be pointless to do so. You're always better to wear other types of armor. So I think we can probably get away with this and it won't be an issue. So if I go here and I go mage armor, I'm going to spell it the American way. Right, there we go. We've got a new version of mage armor, don't we? So mage armor, you touch a willing creature who isn't wearing armor until the spell ends, the target base becomes plus. So this is, yeah. Forget about this. The spell ends early if the target don't armor. Basically, you cannot wear armor, any other type of armor with it. Yeah, that's probably... does using a shield add to your armor bonus and or plus end the spell early? So I think I don't really want a cloak and this to be combined. It really won't matter with a wizard or a sorcerer because they can't use shields anyway. But I think we can definitely make that into what you're talking about here. So let's do something. And if I remember right, leather armor is it a plus 12? Is it 12 plus your dexterity modifier? I think it's something like that, isn't it? In terms of the bonus in 5e, and then if you're dealing with something else, that's weapons. Where's armor? Armor's earlier. Armor's earlier. Okay, let's get this right. Okay, so padded is 11 plus your dex modifier. So you like, it's not much to it. Studded is 12. This is going to be magical. That would be like wearing chain shirt, but you have a maximum dexterity thing that you can do with it. Okay, I think I've got an idea of what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go here, paste. Is it paste? Yes, it is paste. Okay, while wearing this cloak, your your base armor class bracket AC. No, don't do that. Cut it out. I'm not American. No. It's not going to let me do this. Okay, so fine. I'm going to ignore you. Become AC becomes 13 plus your dexterity modifier. This magical armor doesn't stack with other suits of armor or a shield. And that is probably how I would write it. And what you've written here is something that can scale. And yeah, we could do something that scales, but I think I'm just going to keep it nice and simple for today. I think that's fine. Okay, so that's that one. We're on our way. We're down to 3. Let's go back to chat and see what you guys have got to say. We'll come up with something else. You're probably wondering why did I do that? Because I know that my players, as soon as I make a magic item like that, they're going to ask me, can I have a shield with that? And casting the shield spell is probably the next thing that'll happen. But you can still do that if you've got Mage Armor spell up. I just don't think it's going to make any difference, frankly. It might be, it wouldn't be a magic item that you could put into Shadow Dark without there being a few problems, I suspect, though. That would be my guess. Anyway, let's go back to the chat. Let's see what else we got here. Whoa! Things are all away. We're on our biggest. I got a whole bunch of stuff we've got to take down, don't I? The biggest cloak acts as a normal cloak, but looks like rags. What? Biggest cloak acts as a normal cloak, but looks. Oh, I know what he's done here. Yeah, I will be leaving that off. Resist elements is broad. Oh, is it resist elements? I was going for just one resistance. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just made it immunity rather than just resistance. So yeah, it's not like your idea has been ignored. Cloak of warmth. I just call it the winter's cloak, and I just gave them immunity because I thought that's fine. I don't think it's going to really be a big deal because resistance is really just basically a warm cloak. It's not very magical. Cloak of Featherfall. Now, why would we need to have a Cloak of Featherfall? Well, activated, the wearer falls at the speed of a feather. Now, we did something with the boots of Featherfall. Do I want a Cloak of Featherfall? I think we have an umbrella that does this as well. I don't really want to tie Featherfall into a cloak, but could it be? I suppose it could be. I suppose it could be. I'm going to try real hard not to duplicate too many things with, effects. If we're going to have a slightly different effect each time for each magic item, even if we're working off the same spell, that would be nice. So okay, let's put this in the can. But whatever I do with it, I need to build on it and do something different. Otherwise, it's kind of just the same effect every single time, just a different item you're wearing. Ripley's Cloak. Cloak is immune to acid, green slime, grey ooze, and other. Oh, I see. Why is it Ripley's Cloak? There's a message there I'm unaware of, right? What's going on there, Pale Rider? I'm not too. Cloak billows out to a cartoonish umbrella parachute when you fall. That's not a bad idea. I I think we literally had a magical parachute too. I think we created a magical parachute at one point. Let's have a look here. Paste. Well, that didn't work. Let's try undo that. Try that again. Paste. Parachute. Okay. Alright, what else? Porky Pig had one. Oh, yes. Cloak of Gliding. When activated, the cloak will spread out like wings and become rigid. The wearer can then glide, not fly. Oh. Like Batman. I like this idea more. Okay. Now it's about whether it's going to be too powerful. I think Featherful... Let's take that idea and let's sort of go with the gliding thing. Because it's essentially the same, but you can maneuver rather than just go straight down. Okay, alright. I've marked that. Interesting. Cloak of useful items. Wherever you pull from your pocket is not going to help with the current... Oh, good lord. Cloak of useless items. I see what you're doing here. Cloak of many pockets. Basically works as a big bag of holding. Yeah, I don't really want to work on that one because a bag of holding is a bag of holding. So, yeah, the Cloak of Gliding, it's got potential. Let's do this. Move that across. Okay, what else? Chef Ramsay's jacket. Better cooking. Okay, all right. Cloak of Dagger. Can produce an unlimited number of daggers. Well, no, that's a problem. It's Ripley. Oh, Ripley's the Aliens reference. Yep, okay, I get it. Cloak of Daggers. That would be quite a powerful item if I made that, though. I'm pretty sure. I would have to figure out how to do that. Okay, so a couple of ideas there. See if I can work through a few of these. Ripley's cloak is probably my favourite right now out of all of them. So we will keep prompting, and I will start working on these ideas, see how far I can get them. How's that sound? Paste. And let's just make sure that we go here. And paste. Okay. Back over to the document. So, I'm just thinking, my brain is just chundering along. Ripley's cloak. I can use the basic structure of this magic item here for that, really. So go copy, and then with Ripley's cloak, drop this in, paste. Okay, while wearing this cloak you are immune to acid damage from green slime, oozes, and other acid types. Okay. Replace. cloak. Bold. Okay. I may regret this, so I'm going to just highlight this. I'm just thinking if maybe I've made a mistake here with that one, and whether I've made a mistake with this one here, but I'll come back to it. I just have to think about them a bit more. These are fine. That I feel like that is perfectly all right. Cloak of Gliding. Yep, Cloak of Gliding is fine. I don't think there is a Cloak of Gliding right now. So with this, what do I need to do? I need to do something in terms of what do I need to do? I need to think a little bit more. Let's go copy, take that, put this here, paste. Okay, while wearing this cloak, you can use an action to activate. You can use an action to activate the cloak. That will spread out like wings and become rigid. The wearer of the cloak can glide but not fly. Okay. I don't think this is going to be a common magic item though. I think it gives you too much option to maneuver rather than just falling down quite slowly. And even though it's kind of like duplicating Featherfall, it's not really close enough. I think it's going to wind up being a much higher level item. So I'm putting this in yellow. Daggers, Cloak of Daggers. Okay, all right. So I've taken a few there. I don't think I'm going to work on those just right now. I still feel like they're quite high level. We wind up with too many things that could potentially be too high level. So let's go over to spells, and if I work my way through cantrips, cloak. I don't want to do Blade Ward, although a cloak is probably the most sensible place to do it. When a creature makes an attack roll against you before the spell ends, the attack subtracts 1d4 from the attack roll. It's just too good. Let's keep going down. Something that cloak-like, something that would make sense for a cloak. Is anything in Droidcraft? Okay. This is the weather thing, and that's a blooming, no. Sensory effects, harmless, no. Snuff out, none of those are sort of cloak magic item stuff. Elementalism, what's this one? You create a strong breeze, earth, none of those sort of sing to me, so we'll leave them alone. Encode thoughts, I don't think so. Maybe a helmet or a crown, but I think encode thoughts should be something that's related to that. Friends, no. Firebolt, no. What else? Friends, Frostbright, no. Guidance. What would be an ability check that a cloak would help with? I don't think there's anything. I feel like a cloak is a hindrance, if anything, just because they would generally get in the way. Yeah, I'd say no to that. Note. Hang on. Do we have something? I don't want full invisibility, but is there something that gives you a benefit if you're hiding or trying to be stealthy. I don't think there is. Displacement, billowing, no. Oh, Elven Kind might be one though. The Elven Kind one is a stealth one. While wearing this cloak, wisdom perception checks made to perceive you have disadvantage and you have advantage on. Yeah, it's been done, so there's no point. So forget about that. Keep moving along. Gust, I don't think so. Infestation, no. Light, not really. Mage Hand, no. Magic Stone, Mending, no. Message, no. I think that's something that you would wear on your head. Mind Sliver, God, no. Leave that alone. That trouble. That spells so much trouble. Minor Illusion, let's leave that alone too. Mold Earth, Colour Spray, we might not. Oh, Prestidigitation, what be here? What can we do here that... Oh, I know what we can do. It would definitely be a minor effect. It would probably have almost no mechanical effect other than it would appeal to one of my players, Simon, which is funny, but I think we should definitely do it. And that is a cloak that is always clean. Yeah. I know what you're thinking, people. Are you serious? You got one that changes colour and one that always stays clean? Yeah. Yeah, I am quite serious. I'm making this just because I know Simon will love it. What would you call it though? The clean cloak. It's not the cloak of cleaning. Let's call it the clean cloak. You got a better name? Let me know. While we're in this cloak, okay. Okay, while wearing this cloak, you and the cloak can never get dirty or soiled. Talk about a common magic item. We don't get much common than that. Will you use it a lot? I don't know, but yeah. Okay, so this is this one. There you go, Simon. I made it. Primal Savagery. I don't think so. We might resistance. This is where we need to go and look. Now, I think the problem with resistance is we've gotten some that are immunity. So you touch willing creature and choose the damage type. They have basically resistance, which is 1d4. Well, it's not resistance. They get 1d4 to reduce the damage by total damage taken by 1d4. It's not immunity. It's just a little reduction, which is a cantrip effect. I don't think that's going to work. I think that's, yeah, I'm going to leave that alone. Shape Water, no. Shillelagh, Shock and Grasp, I don't think so. We may not get very many out of the cantrips today for this. Thaumaturgy, I don't know that Thaumaturgy is the one I would go with. This is a new one. You alter the appearance of your eyes, your booming voice, you cause flames to flicker, yeah, whatever. You instantly cause an unlocked door or window to fly open or shut. Create a sound. I don't think any of those sort of work. Let's move along. Thunderclap, no. True Strike, no. Vicious Mockery, I don't think so. Okay, so none of those really. So we're going to have to move on to level 1 spells. This is the dangerous thing. Not every single level 1 spell could be turned into a magic item using the spell effect, and it still be a common magic item. Just because of the resource management that your games often have. So we're going to work through that in a second. Yeah, let's go back and see what chat has to say, because I'm sure they have more ideas. Oh. Sorry, did I share this with you? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe you just seen my face the whole time. So I did make I did make some stuff. Jeez. This is the problem when it gets so hot in my office in summer. Was I don't know what's going on. But anyway, so let's go back and have a look at chat. New ideas coming. Oh, look, Fred and Pale Rider are firing away and all cylinders. Cloak of the Familiar. Oh, Pale Rider, that's a brilliant idea. That's a really good idea. I really like that. That is my next favourite thing to work on. Let's put that right there. That is the money window, and I think that would make so much sense too. Fred Huber, politician's suit coat helps you talk for hours and say nothing meaningful. Oh God. Really? Okay. Shadow cloak. As long as the wearer is totally in the shadow that doesn't move, there is only a 10% chance. No, it's too much like the Elven cloak, and there's many Elven cloaks in different versions of D&D. I think I should leave it alone. The porcupine cloak. Cloak can shoot out a barrage of quills once per day. That's an interesting idea. I'm not against that. That's actually quite a cool idea. We could make that, if we hone down the amount of damage that it does, we can make that a magic item, and that would be easy. That's good. Let's stick that straight after the Cloak of the Familiar. Paste. I want to work on that one after that one. That's cool. Gliding speed, 40 feet, but must move, not repeating squares in any one turn. It's gliding speed for... Oh, if I've got to write all that sort of stuff into the magic item for it to not be exploited, then I don't think it should exist. As soon as you have to preface everything that way, I feel like just don't create it. You know, I'm on this channel. Many times I've said, when you make magic items, start small, and you know, if it can be exploited in a way that you don't want it to be exploited, just don't create it. There's a reason why I never made a magic missile gauntlet, because I don't think it's a good idea. I didn't make a magic missile wand because I don't think it's a good idea. Okay, let's go. Cloak of Billowing. The cloak can billow. Yeah, there's already a Cloak of Billowing, so I can't do that. Traveler's Cloak. The cloak can transform into a one-person tent. That's a good idea. Do we call it the Traveler's Cloak, or do we call it something else? Pale Rider's on fire today. All right, let's have a look here. I've got a few to deal with, don't I? And then what else? Mud Cloak. Always looks muddy and... Fred. Hunter's Cloak. The wearer is not detected by smell. You've been very specific. We can probably get away with that being a thing too. I don't think anybody's going to want to wear it. That's the only problem. It is so niche. Will anybody ever remember that they're even wearing it? This is half the problem too, isn't it? Reaper's Cloak. You appear as the Grim Reaper when wearing... Oh, I like this idea. Okay, that's now my new favourite one. I'm taking that idea and I'm going to do something with that. It is basically quick costume change, right? And the Grim Reaper is notoriously known for having a cloak, wearing a cloak. That's a good idea. Cactus Cloak. Unarmed strikes cause the attacker to take damage from spines. Oh, it's like spiked armor. Okay. Okay, then I've got a few to try to work on today. All right. I don't need to worry too much about the level 1 spells right now, do I? Look at all this stuff to deal with. Okay, next. Infravision Shield Cloak hides the wearer's heat signature. Oh, Oh, I see what you're trying to do here. This is not a bad idea. Heat signature. Well, here's the... It is very, very specific. But it's an interesting idea. I don't know how useful it would be, though. That's another problem. I'm probably going to have to put that way down the bottom here. But I've got a bunch here to work on. The Reaper's Cloak is my next... there's at least 3 here that I feel like are really, really cool ideas. So I'm going to take this, do the prompt again, and start working on your suggestions, people. Let's have a look. I've got 2 people doing all the work today, which is fine. It's pretty normal. Oh, wolf's coat. Flip up the hood, and you can appear to be a sheep. He's taking the piss. You can appear as a sheep. Dear, it's funny. All right, okay. Paste. All right, let's go back over to my document and start working on this again, and hopefully you can see what I'm up to. All right, here we are. Right, I better keep drinking water, otherwise I'm gonna fade. The Reaper's Cloak. Reaper's Cloak. Let's do this. And so paste. Okay, let's do that. While wearing this cloak, you appear as the Grim Reaper. Or what's the word? Avatar of Death. Let's add in a mechanical thing. You have advantage, which you can apply to any version of D&D really, so that's not really a problem. You have advantage on any ability check, ability, skill, or saving throw okay, any ability check or saving throw to cause fear in anyone who sees you. Okay. We've got a narrative aspect, we've got a mechanical aspect. Should be able to port it over to just about any system. Is it stronger than common? No, I don't think it is. I think that's fine. Cloak of the Familiar. Okay, let's take this and do this one. There we go. Paste. And now we're looking at the spell Familiar and how it's trying to duplicate this. How do I write it so it works too? Without it getting carried away, because there's a lot of material components to Familiar. Absorb elements. Oh, is that absorb elements the spell I was looking for? Here we go. Maybe this is what I was after. It's a level 1 spell, duration 1 round. Spell captures some of the incoming energy and unleashes it stored in the next turn. You have resistance to the trigger damage type until the start of your next turn. Also, the first time you hit with this melee attack on your next turn, the target takes. Okay, so it does damage as well. No, it's not really what I was thinking. Okay, and I don't. Do I want that as an effect? No. Even with a no, I don't want to use that. I think absorb elements is probably too much. Too much for a common magic item. Animal friendship with a cloak? No, I don't think so. Alarm? No. Armor of Aethys? No, it's too strong, that spell as it is. Bane? No, that doesn't make sense. Beast Bond? Bless? If Bless is going Cloak of Blessings, I wouldn't be against that as long as it only affects one person. Can we do that? And if it was always in effect, would I have an issue? Well, that gives you +1 to attack rolls and saving throws. Is that really a common magic item? How long does it last? 1 minute concentration. How many times could you use it? Does it need to have charges? And then a +1 to saving throws. A 1d4 is too much. And I don't know if there's anything that's like it already. So I might copy this and remember this for later. Displacement, Elvenkind, many fashions, Cloak of Protection. Well, that is a protection one, isn't it? This is, okay. Hound, Manta Ray, okay. Alright, so we'll go back. I've got to figure this one out. I need to find that familiar spell. Can't be that far off. And then paste. And then copy. Need to do a porcupine one as well, don't I? Well, that doesn't work. Why isn't that not working? It's because for no particular reason. Paste. Okay, so while we're in this cloak, the problem is it is +1 to attack rolls. It's not like a uncommon magic weapon which is damage and attack, but you're also getting saving throws. So this is really Cloak of Blessings this is falling more in the vein of, if I turn it on like this, it is more of an uncommon magic item. It's not a common magic item at all. Okay, while we're in this cloak, your attack roll or a saving throw is a +1 bonus. Okay, and that has got to be uncommon. That's not a common magic item. Definitely not, even with a +1. I could do 1d4, but that would be too strong. So, yeah. Okay, so what else was I doing here? I was trying to find familiar. Burning Hands, no. Catapult, no. Cause Fear, Ceremony. What's Ceremony again? Ceremony is Atonement, Blessings of Water, Coming of Age. I don't think so. Let's leave them alone. Pardon me. Charm Person. No, nope, nope, nope. Command. No, that should be on a head. Compel Jewel. I don't think so. Create, Destroy Water. Comprehend Languages. Absolutely not. Cure Wounds. Absolutely not. Detect Magic. No, I don't think that makes sense for a cloak. Let's keep going. Disguise Self. Disguise Self could be, and this lasts for an hour. You make yourself, including your clothing, armor, look different until the spell ends. You can seem 1 foot taller or higher. Okay, there's a lot going on here. Is this just going to wind up being a complete pain in the ass? You must perform. It has basically. Yeah. Okay. No, so disguise self. If I want this to work, I want just the clothing to change and not your actual physical appearance, not your actual physical form. That's going too far. But this has potential. And that would be a common magic item, so we could do that and that wouldn't be a problem. Let's put this, where did I want to go here? Spell, let's go under this one. Paste. Okay, so Cloak of Disguise. All right, let's keep working along. Where's this familiar? Dissonant Whispers, no. Divine Favor, Distort Value, no. Divine. No, that's not going to be us. That's not a cloak. Earth Tremor. Geez, there's actually quite a few ideas here. I'm not working through them as quickly as I'd like. Expeditious Retreat. No, I think Expeditious Retreat works better with boots. We made boots that are related to that. Fairy Fire. No. Let's leave it alone. False Life. False Life. No, friggin' the temporary hit points. Forget about that. Sheesh, what was I thinking? Featherfall. Here we go. This is for 5. So this could be done. It's just how to structure it. Yeah, I am not convinced that this doesn't fall into the fly spell. Do you know what I mean? It feels, even though it's controlled flight and you're gliding, it feels like the fly spell. And making anything that allows you to fly, even glide, might be too much. 3. When I think about this, it's probably going to be too strong. And too hard to sort of... I want to try to avoid making stuff that people just can't use. Well, I suppose it's better than a flying broom. Which of course would be uncommon, which is ridiculous. Okay, so back to here. Find familiar. Featherfall, we've seen Featherfall. Find familiar, here we go. Here's the legacy one, here's the new one. This is what we're after. This is the one we're trying to do. So what we want to try to do is duplicate some of the concepts behind this. I'm not in the, I don't think that I want it to do everything that Find Familiar does. Because it's kind of like the image in the thumbnail, Doctor Strange's cloak that, yeah, so yeah. Being able to telepathically communicate with the cloak is fine, but I don't want it to be able to see and feedback information. This one makes them fly, which is a problem. This is probably going to be too hard to make without getting carried away. Yeah, this is going to be, I can see this being a big, huge bunch of trouble. I am not honestly sure how I would build that without creating more trouble than it's worth. I'm going to put this right down the bottom here and paste, and I'm going to mark it in red. I have to really think about that one. I liked it so much, but yeah, realizing now, like, it's actually quite hard to do. Porcupine cloak might be easier though. Let's try that one. Okay. Porcupine cloak. That's that. Drop this down. Oh, let's push this down so I can get on the same page. And we need to go. No, I don't think it needs to be uncommon. It could be common. We can build it so it's common. Copy. And it would probably be revolving around using an action. Yeah, pretty sure. Paste. You can use an action to shoot a barrage of quills once per day. Now, I don't know that it needs to be once per day. I like the idea that if we just make it fairly tame, that you can just use it. What would it be? Porcupine cloak. You can shoot out a barrage of quills. To a range of 30 feet that do 1d6 piercing damage. And I think we can get rid of the once per day. I don't have a problem if you're just using that over and over again. Is it as good as most other cantrips? I'm just thinking in terms of this now. I might be able to push that d6 up to a d8. While wearing this cloak, you can use an action to shoot out a barrage of quills. The cloak to a range of 30 feet that do 1d6 piercing damage. D6. Could it be a D8? It probably could be a D8. It probably could be a D8. I think a D8 would be still all right. It's only 30 feet, and it's a cloak. I don't really want it to be a D10, but I think if it's D6, we can probably go to a D8. And that would still be a common magic item. Yeah. Yep, I can see that. Okay, cool. We've done that one. And we're an hour in. How many have I done? There's a few here I might have to change. Kind of knew this would be the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I'm just thinking in terms of this one. My general feeling is that this is probably uncommon. It probably should be uncommon. Because whether you're gliding or flying is better than gliding, but it's still a pretty effective thing. And you know, anything that makes you fly, even gliding, just falling slowly is different. But I think that might be too much. And is there boots of flying or something like that? I think there's boots or a broom of flying. Boots of levitation are rare. Boots of levitation, that's just going up and down. That's rare. And then if we have the broom, I'm pretty sure the broom of flying is uncommon, which is ridiculous. This could be uncommon because it's not flying full, yeah. So let's make that an uncommon item. And I feel like that would be okay. And the bearer, the wearer. Okay, the wearer. Cloak wearer. Wearer can glide but not fly. Can glide. Glide. Jeez, this keeps coming up as being a problem. The cloak wearer can glide. 40 feet. 40 feet. 40 feet. In any direction. Per turn. 40 feet reasonable? It's quite fast. Let's make it less. It's a cloak. 20 feet in any direction per turn while descending. Less. Descending 30 feet per turn. Cloak wearer can glide 20 feet in any direction per turn while descending 30 feet per turn, but true flight. It's probably better that way. Okay. I can live with that a little bit more now. I'll still leave it in yellow. Okay, thinking about that a little bit more. Moving down. So the cactus cloak is a good idea. I like that a lot. So let's go here. Cactus cloak. paste. Paste. Cactus cloak. Delete the D, delete the D, delete the D. There. So while wearing this cloak, you can any unarmed strikes or someone touching you takes 1d4 it's a piercing damage from tiny spines through spines. While wearing this cloak, any unarmed strikes, any unarmed strike, or someone touching you takes 1d4 piercing damage from tiny spikes covering the cloak. Yep, that's alright. Traveler's cloak. Traveler's cloak, or is it? I feel like it's a tent cloak, really. Then we have the cloak of disguise, which I kind of want to do as well. So let's go here and cut and paste. All right. Okay, so here we go. This one here. Copy. And this one, yeah, paste. Okay, so cloak of disguise. Let's go here. So while wearing this cloak, you can use an action. To magically change the appearance of any clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings while wearing this cloak, you can use an action to magically change the appearance of any clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings you carry. Okay, has that got the gist of it? While wearing this cloak, you can use an action to magically change the appearance of any clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings you carry. As a common magic item, is that going to be too exploitable? I think it'll be alright, as long as I'm not affecting the person who's actually in the clothing. That would become way too strong for a common magic item. But just changing the appearance of the clothing itself and the armor and the weapons and the belongings, I feel like that would be alright. Okay. Alright, so I've done those. Let's go back to chat and see where we are. I'm sure I've fallen behind. Let's see what other ideas you guys have got, and I'll keep working on the tent one next. I think the tent one will be the next one I try. Oh my god. There's a lot of information here. The Flash's cloak. No, I'm not doing the Flash's cloak. Wolf's Cloak. Cloak of the Wolf. It's not a bad idea. Oh, one of us. Reaper, not recognized as living by skeletons or zombies. Oh, I see. I see what you're saying. With the Reaper's Cloak, we don't want the undead. So really, we don't want to be able to just, yeah. If the idea being that even though it's a good idea, we don't want to be able to sort of disguise yourself as the undead, and then that, yeah, I can see where you're going with this. That makes actually a lot of sense now that I think about it. So undead creatures undead creatures can see through the what's the word? Undead creatures instinctively. Know that you are not the Grim Reaper. Right. Okay, all right. I see what you're saying there. I've got it noted down. The wolf one is an interesting idea, though. I need to put this one under, I think. I still want to do the tent one. I think the tent one's quite clever. And I would be tempted to make a bag or a pocket, a cloak with pockets that had lots of useful things. I can see that. That would be quite interesting and fun. I just don't know how to do it without getting a bit too carried away. Okay. I think the familiar idea, although it's a great idea, I just don't know how to do it without it becoming a bit silly. I think it might be too hard. Yeah, I was thinking Doctor Strange, but I think that is like a legendary magic item. We're not building a common magic item for building Doctor Strange's cloak. It's literally an artifact. Octopi cloak. When it is salt water, the cloak transforms into 4 tentacles controlled by the wearer. The cloak can be used to add to the swim speed or add additional actions, but not both. It's an interesting idea, but I think that's also probably a fairly high-level magic item. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's definitely a high-level idea. High-level magic item. It's got a lot of power in it. Paste. Next. Okay, desert rope. No need for water. Can't pass it around. Oh, I see what you're trying to do here. If that is what they're going to do, if they're going to attune to it so you don't need water for a day, then I don't think we should make it. Do you know what I mean? Is it really going to come up? Like, how many campaigns where water is a big issue? Like, there are so few people running Dark Sun campaigns or using water and food as a resource that I just don't think it's even worthwhile going there. My favourite abuse of magic item involving passing them around. Yeah, Cloak of Disguise exists. Oh, does it? Oh, no. Okay, so that Cloak of Disguise, does it? Where is it made? Wizards of the Coast didn't do it, or is it a thing that I don't know? Is it a robe? Is it maybe a robe, and that I've picked up on the robe? Oh, okay, magic items. It may be a magic robe, eh? Robe of Disguise or something like that. Let's try that. Robe of Eyes, Robe of Stars, Archmage, useful items. Yeah, the useful items. No, is a Robe of Disguise actually already exist? Or a Cloak of Disguise? I don't think it does. It probably does exist, right? Surely it does. This is why you've told me that it does. Cloak of Disguise. Somebody else has made it, probably. Cloak of Disguise. Hat of Disguise, but not a Cloak of Disguise. Cloak of Disguise. 5e. Oh, Cloak of Disguise. Here we go. Nora's Corner. You turn the clothes when I think it's warm and cold. So there is an item. It's called the Cloak of Disguise, but what does it do? Its effect is completely different. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that either. Okay, interesting. I need to do a bit more research, eh? Cloak of Second Life. The cloak will block one fatal attack just once and then be destroyed. So it's a basically consumable item. Hello, Mike. Mike Sands, how are you doing? Yeah, cloaks can have fairly mundane. They need to be just slightly better than mundane. Otherwise, it's just a mundane item, isn't it? No blood stains. Well, we've got something that keeps you clean already, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Let me just take this one here, and I'll drop this in here. I think I'll work on that later. Paste. Okay, and then next one. So Mike has got here, Mike Sands, water repellent, fire repellent, multi-pockets, super insulated, parachuting eyes behind you, camouflage patterns. A lot of these things already exist. Cloak of Constellations. The cloak shows the night skies, stars. Oh, Cloak of Constellations. What is the purpose behind this? I don't think this is a cloak, though. What you disguising feels like glasses or goggles. So the idea, the magical effect, I feel like is a glasses or goggles thing, rather than a cloak thing. A pop-up tent, yeah. I believe Pale Rider wanted me to make a cloak that's a pop-up tent. I like the one that just flaps dramatically as yeah, that already exists, so I can't make that. Lug cloak acts as a slide down toboggan. I think that's a feather token of some kind, or some sort of token. I don't think that's a cloak. Like a net of entanglement when you throw it over an enemy. Become a paraglider. Yeah, we kind of done that. We've got the Cloak of Gliding, so that's there. A gas mask cloak. No, if that's a mask, we'll literally make a mask that's that. So I think we'll leave that effect. Porcupine cloak. Oh, an AOE radius, friends and foe. Well, I guess that is not something I had considered when I was doing the write-up for the porcupine cloak, right? The porcupine cloak might cause a lot of confusion. 30 feet means anything between 30 feet is going to just get hit with 1d8 piercing damage from the quills. But maybe that's too far. Because it's an area effect, it probably needs to be less powerful. Otherwise, it's too much. That's a very good point, actually. All right, so I need to trim it down. It needs to be 1d4. And 30 feet is a long way. 10 feet, so you've got to be close so the quills don't fly too far. Let's make it 10 feet. I think that's probably better. 10 feet, you probably only get 2 individuals. Yeah, that's more like it. Yeah. Right, that helps clear up that problem, Fred Hubert. Yeah, friends or foe. I don't think I need to. It's basically just going to hit everybody. You don't really get to control where the quills go. You just shoot them out. So 10 feet is the range and 1d4. Cloak of volume. The wearer can speak as if they have a megaphone. Oh, I don't think that's. Again, I think that's a mask. Okay, here we go. Pale Rider. On the familiar cloak, it can fly, can not carry anything more than 20 pounds or 20 stones. Yeah, but the problem is I don't want to make flying magic items. Even if it was going to be listed as a legendary magic item, I think making magic items that allow you to fly is a fucked up idea, unfortunately. It is such a bad idea. Because it's the one thing that players really want the most, and it will cause so much trouble at the table. Always does, because as soon as you've got a magic item that allows you to fly, if you can figure out how to get invisibility on you, you're back to the nonsense of 3.5 and even 4E, where flying and being invisible at the same time was just essentially meant you were impossible to deal with. And if you wind up doing impossible things as a player character, then game masters wind up reverting to doing that sort of same strategy, which is I've experienced as well, which is shite to deal with. It's certainly really effective, but flying and invisible is such a terrible idea. So I'm gonna yeah. I think the familiar cloak is probably not going to be getting made because it's an artifact. Stone. Oh, we've got a lot of stuff here. Am I catching up a little bit? Cloak that transforms you into a bear, as in like a bear, like an animal bear, permanently. Oh dear, Mike, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny. I don't know that I'll be making that one, but it is definitely hilarious. Quite funny. All right, let's put this here, paste this, and then am I coming back to this? I don't know. All right, let's have a look. What else have you got here, people? Permanently. I can't remember. It's basically cursed, isn't it? That's what you've got here's a cursed magic item. Cursed cloak. People walk behind you, see you as naked. Oh dear. Funny. I need to work on the tent one, don't I? Tent. Paste. Right, what else we've got? Cursed Cloak of Protection. We've got a lot of cursed stuff going on here. Mike, you know I like making cursed magic items, but maybe that's a bit too much. Well, there is a Cloak of Many Pockets already. It's already been created. And it looks like the Cloak of Disguise might have to get ditched as well if it's got a similar effect to somebody else's. Pool of Golden Radiance novel. Okay. Porcupine Cloak shoots 180 degrees, so the wearer needs to turn their back to the... no, I think we did. I don't think there's much point. Oh, you want the cloak to be able to fly, but not the wearer. Oh, that would help. That would certainly help. I don't know if it would be enough, though. to shoot out a barrage of quills from the cloak, and a 10-foot. Okay, so I'm making some adjustments here based on your feedback. Okay, so I think we've got them. All right. Let me just start working on some stuff. I think that's probably the best way. You've given me a lot of ideas to work with, so let's just work through them and see how far we go. Tent, the wolf, the hunter's cloak, pocket of many thing. Cloak of many pockets. I think it does exist, so I don't think we can do that. Is it robe of many pockets? I think it is robe of many pockets. Robe of useful things. Many pockets of useful things. Yeah, so it's a little bit different, but not that much. Okay, all right. So let's go back here. Let's see what we can do. This one, the traveler's cloak. Do we call it the traveler's cloak? Let's do that. Copy. Paste. While wearing this cloak, you can use an action to magically transform it into a one-person tent for as long as you like. To change the tent back into a cloak, another action must be used. Okay. I don't even know if it needs to say action. It just, because it's not a combat thing. Why? How would you use it? Would you use it in combat? Suddenly you're in a tent. Or suddenly there is a tent. I don't know that it needs to be an action though. I don't feel like it needs to be an action. And I've put that there. So while wearing this cloak, you can I don't know. Yeah, okay. As close as I can get. This here I need to put into blue. There might be, is it green? Green, because there might be one that already exists. Wolf's cloak. Wolf's cloak. Okay, so copy. Let's see if we can get this right. Paste. While wearing this cloak, all wolves will accept you as one of the pack. This doesn't mean they won't challenge you, but you... Okay, so I need to arrange this so that this is going to work. Wearing this cloak, all wolves will accept you as one of the pack. This doesn't mean that a wolf pack leader won't challenge you. Okay. Do wolves eat their own? That's a good question. Do wolves eat their own? There we go. Let's see. Yes, wolves will sometimes eat other wolves, but they are not known to eat their pups. Aha. Carnivores will eat any dead wolf. Okay. It's not clear if they will kill other members. Okay, so that's probably me going off on a little sidetrack that doesn't need to be involved. Okay. I can live with that as a common magic item. I think we can say yes to that one. Next, Hunter's Cloak is not detected by smell. Okay. I am not sure how to do with that and deal with that. The infrared shield cloak. I just don't think it's going to come up enough. The other ones transform permanently into a bear. It's basically a cursed magic item. It's definitely not common. Cloak of Daggers. Cloak of Daggers. Okay, this is harder than I thought it would be. Definitely harder than I thought it would be. Yeah. Good thought experiment though. All right, so let's go back to some spells. I don't want to do the familiar because it's going to be, even if I make it just fly and not the person who's got it. What's the point of doing that? There isn't really a point, is there? Yeah, I need to think more about the familiar cloak a lot more. Fog cloud. I don't know. Is a cloak a fog cloud thingy? Heavy obscurity. I don't think it is. I don't see it. Frost fingers. No. Good berry. Absolutely not. Terrible spell. Well, it's a great spell, but it's too good, basically. Grease. Don't think that makes any sense. Guiding bolt. Hail of thorns. We've got the porcupine cloak already, so that's already covered. Healing word should not exist as a spell at all. Hellish rebuke. Oh, it's a reaction. I hate reactions. That damage you is momentarily surrounded by green flames. Safe. There's a bucket load of damage. It's so ridiculous. No. A hellish cloak. I don't know. I feel like that's more armor. Let's leave that alone. Heroism. That might be potentially something. Oh, it's temporary hit points. Forget it. A willing creature that the creature is immune to the frightened condition. I can live with making a magic item that makes you immune to the frightened condition. Forget about the temporary hit points, but this bit here, I could do that. I could see that happening. That is a thing. Cloak of Heroism, absolutely. Did I save it? I probably did. Copy. Let's do this. Paste. Paste. We take one little bit of that and I make that a main feature. I would be fine with that. I can think of a few people in my group and other people who would probably see that as a useful item. Copy. Paste. Paste. Okay. Well, wearing this cloak, you are immune to being frightened okay. While wearing this cloak, you are immune to being frightened and magical fear effects. What do you think? I'm feeling quite pleased with myself. I'm like, does that actually exist though? I don't think it does. I don't think there's one that's built that way. And then robes, serpents. I don't think there is. I think we're safe on that one. Hooray! Okay, so here's another one. Here we go. I think that works. Yeah, why not? Let's make that a thing. That's nice and simple too. Super easy to. While wearing this cloak, you are immune to being frightened and magical fear effects. Yeah, absolutely. Let's do this. Next, what else do we got here? Hunter's Mark, terrible spell. Should not be a spell. I mean, it's a good spell, but it shouldn't be a spell. It should just be the Ranger's Hunter's Mark. It's a class feature for Ranger. Hunter's Mark. Why would you give this to anybody else? It shouldn't even be available. Anyway, this is me going on a little bit of ranty. So let's ignore the ranty and keep moving. Identify, absolutely not. Should never make a magic item that is like the Identify spell, particularly if it's got material components to it. It's bad enough nowadays that people don't take Identify as a spell, and they figure that they'll just have a short rest in 5e, and yeah, I know what everything is. Like, yeah, whatever. Illusionary script. I know it's supposed to make everything easier, but illusionary script, no. If we do that, we need to have it needs to be a magic pen. Illusionary script, you write it. Inflict wounds, no. Jim's magic missile is terrible. Jump, no. I don't think that's why would we have is there a cloak of jumping? Because if there is, do you know one of the things I can't stand in games, and particularly video games, which I don't play nowadays, is jumping. It is not fun. I do not want a game where I jump, so I'm not going to make an item that hasn't jumping. Long strider, I think we had boots that were kind of like this, didn't we? Yeah, we had boots that sort of increased your speed. I don't think a cloak should do that. Let's leave that alone. What else? We got long stride again, mage armor. We've kind of dealt with that already. Magic missile. Frankly, magic missile should never have any bloodman magic item attached to it. It is anything that allows you to just hit automatically. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Protection from evil. This is an interesting idea. Would that work? Protection from evil and good. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against creatures that are aberrant, blah, 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 blah. Protection grants several benefits. The creatures of those type have an advantage on attack rolls against the target. Also, can't be possessed or by or gain the charmed frightened. There's rather a lot going on here. I think not. A material component, a flask of holy water with which the spell can ship. No, definitely not. No, let's not mess with that. That's always a bad idea. If it's a spell with a material component, it's probably not a smart idea to do anything with. And it's got a lot going on there as it is. Purify water or purified food and water. No. Ray of sickness doesn't make any sense. Sanctuary. Would sanctuary be a good idea? You water creature within range until the spell ends. The creature whose targets the water creature with an attack roll or a damage spell must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. Blah, blah, blah. No, I don't think so. It's a material component thing, but it's just a shard of glass from a mirror. Yeah, I don't think so. We'll leave that alone. Searing Smite, absolutely no. Shield, hell no. Hell no. There's one thing you'd be guaranteed. I love playing spellcasters, and I would never go into a game without shield if I'm playing 5e or 2024, which I'm not going to play. And even when it came to the likes of playing 3.5 or version 3, shield was a no-brainer. Have to have shield because it's just too good. And counterspell nowadays, way too good. Never should be spell. Spells or a spell effect associated with a magic item. It's too good. Silvery Barbs is the devil. Love that spell. Awesome. Only problem is if you have Silvery Barbs, you don't need any other spells in the game. It's literally pointless. So yeah. I just found I used all my spell slots for Silvery Barbs when I had access to it. So nope, won't be doing that one. No magic item for you. Sleep, no, doesn't make sense. Speak with animals, no. I think that's something you stick on your head if we're going to do that. Tasha's floating disc, no, I don't think so. Thunderwave, Unseen Servant, Witch Bolt. We've got one more page. I don't think there's anything here in Wrathful Smart. No. Yeah, so none of those really sort of stand out for me. So I think we've kind of exhausted those ideas at level 1. So let's just go back to the ideas that you had put forward, and I will try to do something with them. They probably won't be common magic items. They're probably going to have to go to uncommon or something else for them to work without them being just bat crazy too good. That would be my impression from this. So we probably can't go too far. And I'm still unsure about the immunity stuff. Just because I haven't found a spell that kind of duplicates being immune to damage of a type. I still don't feel like it's necessarily a big deal, but it may be more uncommon than common. And who will I need to ask? I will probably wind up testing it on my guinea pigs. Anyway, let's have a look. Here we go. Cloak of Shelter. Cloak of Shelter, that's a better name. I like that more. The boat cloak can turn into a 4-person boat. I think that is more a... Paddles not included. Cloak of Healing. When draped over anyone except the wearer, it will act like a healing light wound spell once per day per person. I don't want to make healing magic items. They already exist. I don't feel like I need to make more of them at all. But the Cloak of Shelter, I think, is a good name for it. Absolutely. Cloak of Shelter. Much, much better. Shelter. Yes. That's fine. I like that a lot. That's good. That guys. Hello, that guys. How do you find your passive wisdom when making your character sheet? Sure. Do you want me to show you on a character sheet, that guy? I'm almost done for today, and I'm running out of ideas. Cloak of Lightning. The cloak will absorb static electricity once per day. Okay, so this is another one. Pale Rider, let me note this down. So that guy, please just in the chat, just let me know if you want me to show you actually on a 5e character sheet. Are you playing 5e or are you playing something else? I need to know what system. I'm assuming you're talking about 5e, but if you're playing like Tales of the Valiant, it might look a little bit different. If you're playing advanced 5e, or passive did exist, for example, in 4e. So it is 5e. Okay, all right. So let me just take down a couple of these ideas that people have put forward, and I will show you on screen exactly where that information is. Okay. I haven't. To be fair, I've been kind of waiting for Wizards of the Coast to abandon 5e, and then I would go back through and show people how to make characters for that, but that's probably going to be years away. You're playing 5e. Okay, so let's find you a 5e character sheet and show you the information that you require. Yep. All right. And so I'm going to close that. I'm going to close this. Okay, 5e character sheet. 5e character sheet. Example. We've got an example. We've got plenty of examples. Awesome. That looks like a pretty standard one right there. Is it a... Yep. Does it have where I... Yep, it does. It has exactly what you're looking for. So we can then just... Can I expand this? Give me a second. I'm just loading up a sheet. Is it going to open that up as a bigger image? All right, so here we go. We have an example of a sheet, and I just need to make this a bit bigger so you will be able to see it. Dun, 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 dun. And bigger again. Dun, dun. Have I got it? Okay. All right. All right, that guy, here we go. This is what you were looking for. So this is a sheet. Okay, character sheet, pretty standard one that you would normally use. I'll just move my head so I'm not in the way. There we go. So this is the character sheet, and you're talking about your passive perception or your passive wisdom. Okay, and so if you look on your sheet, you'll notice down here where my little mouse is pointing that this here is your wisdom. So your wisdom modifier is the 1. And your wisdom score is the 12. And then you take your wisdom score and it becomes perception. Now your perception in this case is a +1 because it's your wisdom modifier. So it's right there on the skills table. If you go down, 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 you'll see it says passive wisdom perception. Okay? So passive wisdom or passive perception. It's the same thing essentially. That is 11. Because it's always going to be your passive, your perception modifier, okay, or your wisdom modifier. If you're not proficient, if you were proficient, it'll be different. But in this case, it's an 11. This is where it's found on the character sheet, just underneath the skills section and the ability scores and modifiers, right there on the character sheet. It should be right there. Are you using a normal paper character sheet? If you're using D&D Beyond, I would have to show you on D&D Beyond where your score is, because it's probably going to be positioned a little bit differently. I can't remember exactly, but that's where it is. Does that help? You let me know. And if I've answered your question, that will probably wrap up today. Let's have a look. Did I give you what you needed? I'm going to end my poll because I need to go to work in a second. Yesterday was miserable, and I suspect today is going to be fairly miserable as well. Okay. Do you make magical cloaks for your tabletop role-playing games? Yes, 50%. Just watching, 30%. No, 10%. Incomplete, 10%. Out of 10 votes. Interesting. The picket cloak. The cloak can absorb history and lore. Oh, no, I don't think so. I think that's a really bad idea to make that. Yes, thank you. That's good. You got what you needed. Awesome. Great. Okay. So this is my last live stream for this year, as I had mentioned before. I will be back next year, but much to my surprise, my workplace has allowed me to have Christmas Day off, which means I have no intentions of being on YouTube on Christmas Day, okay, as a live stream. That it wouldn't happen. That would be Boxing Day for you in North America, but yeah. So I'm going to spend time with my family. I thought that was a much more sensible thing to do. As for next year, I've also just been approved to take leave for 2 weeks after I finish work, which is after New Year's, which means I am essentially gone for 1 month. Does that mean you'll see nothing on my channel? No. You'll probably find that stuff will go up onto Patreon as I fiddle around with stuff in the background. So you'll probably still see things going up onto Patreon. Will you see things in terms of videos on my channel? Yeah, but they'll probably be edited videos that I made a long time ago or have been sitting on for God knows how long, and I've decided to finally release it because it was a wet day and I didn't have anything else to do. Okay, so the stuff will show up in the next month, but the live streams are probably going to stop for a good month, and I'm going to take a break because leading up through Christmas and the New Year's, my workplace will be miserable to deal with. Apart from Christmas Day, thank God for that one. And then after that, I'm going to take a week, like 2 weeks off after New Year's, and that means essentially I'm under a tree, which means I'm not at a computer. So yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy New Year. It is quite normal for me to come back and do a video talking about the new year and what to expect in the new year, about all sorts of things. I may or may not do that. If I have anything I feel like that's really important to say, I will do it, and if otherwise I won't. But it's probably going to be a good month away before you see anything like that in terms of a live stream. Everything else is likely to just be edited videos that I've already made a long time ago and are just sitting around. Okay, that's my plan. So huge thank you to everybody. I want to thank everybody who's been watching and listening on my channel to my live streams, particularly today, taking part in the poll. Thank you so much for doing so. It really does help. Giving your feedback, like Pale Rider and Fred Huber have been doing a marvelous job today of providing lots of ideas, which may or may not make it to a finished magic item. We'll see how we go, but often that does happen. And also Mike Sands, thank you for your feedback. I really do appreciate you throwing in your ideas. But particularly Fred Huber and Pale Rider really made today a lot more interesting. You had so many different ideas to share, and I suspect that we will wind up chatting at some point about some of the things that you had put forward, more than likely. So yeah, huge thank you to all of you. And yeah, wherever you are in the world, whether it be the morning, the afternoon, or the night, please look after yourself, your family, and your friends. Be nice to your neighbours. Have a happy and joyful Christmas, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, and a happy New Year, and all the best to you. And yeah, till next year, until I come back, keep rolling those 20s. And for those of you who are wondering, what does that mean? That means don't roll a 20 on every single dice roll. No, that's Professor Dungeon Master. What I mean when I say that is I mean keep playing tabletop role-playing games. That's what I mean. And that is it. Goodbye.